This is not your average Frankenstein story. Re-Animator. And yes, I classify Dr. Herbert West as a Frankenstein-like character. He brings people back from the dead with a dedicated passion. Hell, even the sequel is called Bride of Re-Animator, a nod to Bride of Frankenstein. Welcome to day 8 of my Scare Show 3, titled Halloween Hellhole. Let us begin. The plot. Dr. Herbert West, played wonderfully by Jeffrey Combs, is nearly arrested. I honestly don't know how he got off those charges, though. Freaking murder and being caught red-handed. Even O.J. Simpson couldn't buy his way out of that one. Anyways, now he attends a new hospital where he meets up with Dan, a doctor who has a hard time letting patients die, and who also lets him crash at his place. Late one night, however, a loud cry can be heard from the basement, where West is working. Turns out he's zombified an animal. Not gonna say whose, though. It's a surprise! And from then on out, we get goofily gory antics, hellishly hilarious dark humor, and appropriate acting from this kind of movie. This movie is a cult classic, and for good reason. It is one of my favorite 80s movies. It never gets boring and has a brisk pace throughout all its 85 minutes of runtime. The last 10 minutes, though, should be considered more iconic than it is. And it leaves room for a sequel. A sequel that didn't follow in the direction the first movie's ending offered, but in an all-new story. Also, the character of Dan, like I said, has a hard time accepting the fact that his patients have died. That's why the very last shot of the movie works so perfectly. No spoilers, though. There are so many great scenes in this movie that I am surprised it isn't more well known. Every actor and actress does a great job in this movie. The characters are so enjoyable, and when one scene gets so crazy you think they can't top it, they make you eat your words, or thoughts, or whatever, and it one-ups itself constantly. And of course, the characters handle the situations perfectly. The reactions are appropriate, and so are the effects. Speaking of the effects, they are top-notch in this movie. Tons of blood, severed limbs, grotesque corpses, and an awesome scene involving intestines, as well as another awesome scene involving a decapitation, as well as another scene involving a crushed head. The musical score, it is very reminiscent of Psycho, but you know what? It works so well in this movie, too. This is a superb horror comedy with the effects, humor, acting, and story all perfectly woven together in this tale of the macabre. Overall, I give Re-Animator a solid 5 out of 5. I'm Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below, leave comments, and subscribe.